Hey guys, what is up? I am here to do a sex-only Q&A. I posted a Snapchat and an Instagram story like 3 days ago asking a few guys to send in questions. I said men and women can submit questions, and I picked the best ones, and I have quite a few questions to answer, if you can see here. But I think that if I do so diligently, we can get through all of them, and you guys actually asked really fucking amazing questions. What is funny about this is that literally none of these questions are from men. These are all questions from girls, because when I told men that they were allowed to submit questions if they wanted, I was assuming that they would ask questions, you know, from like a guy standpoint of hooking up, like, oh, like what's a turn on for girls, or what do girls like in bed, just things that guys want to know about sex in general from a woman's perspective. But instead, alas, the questions from men I got were like the following. How deep is your pussy? Have you ever had a 13-inch dick? How long can you last for? How many orgasms have you had during sex? Like, what? I'm not ever gonna answer questions like that because it's gross and you don't need to know. Like, trust me, honey, if you are ever fortunate enough to be in bed with me, you will find out all those things about me when we are fucking. Otherwise, you're just a dirty little creeper on my Instagram trying to ask me dirty little things. I'm not here for it. Real quick, before we get into the questions, I was just wondering if you guys would like me to do a weekly recap of each Bachelor episode, because Bachelor Nation, Bachelor Mondays are in full effect. I'm a huge fan of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, like literally stupid obsessed with it. Just watched the first episode last night. I am actually really pumped for this season. They seem to have like a really great cast of girls. I already kind of have picked out which ones I think I'm really gonna like and which ones are gonna start trouble and which ones just fucking suck. If enough of you watch The Bachelor and are as obsessed with it as I am, and you think that I would do a funny recap, my take on it would be interesting, that's something that I can do once a week on this channel if y'all are here for it. So let me know. Now let's get into the questions so that this video will not be 45 minutes long. Okay, so what do I think about lying to someone about your age, or lying period? A girl reached out to me and said that she has a good thing going with a guy, but she ultimately lied about her age by like 2 years or so, and now she's nervous about that because obviously you gotta be honest at some point. You can't be celebrating birthdays for the rest of the time with them thinking you're turning 25 when actually you're 23, whatever it is. So, funny story about this is I actually lied to my first and like only ever real ass serious boyfriend, the one that cheated on me, the one that was long distance all through high school. I actually lied to him about my age. When I met him, I was in 8th grade and he was a sophomore in high school, and he was 16 and I was 14, and I just did not think a 16-year-old guy that had had sex before, that had had girlfriends before, that could drive, like had his license, would ever be interested in a 14-year-old girl still in 8th grade. So I lied and said I was 15 so that he was thinking I was like about to turn 16 to like think we were close in age. And I did have to tell him the truth, like, I think I told him the truth like pretty soon on, just like maybe 3 or 4 weeks into texting him, I told him the truth. And he wasn't that upset about it because, like, it's not, like, the end of the world. It's not like I was like, oh, by the way, I know I told you I'm 15, but I'm actually 11. It wasn't, like, the end of the world, and I was about to start high school and all that shit, and I explained to him that, like, I'd been held back in 5th grade, not because I was stupid, but that's a story for another time. So that's why I'm, like, older than most 8th graders. Like, it was really, like, I was in 9th grade, and, like, he didn't really care, but it definitely was, like, a little strange to him that I would lie about that just because it's honestly silly. So my best advice is definitely don't ever lie. I think lying is really fucking shitty, even if it's something super minor, like lying about being 1 year older or younger or whatever, but it still just starts off the relationship or whatever it is with mistrust. And like, I'm so big on trust because of like the cheating thing. So honestly, just tell him the truth sooner than later. Like, just be like, look, I don't know why the fuck I would lie about something so stupid, but I just want to let you know I'm actually this age. Like, I hope that doesn't change anything. Like, I promise I haven't lied about anything else, and I will not lie in the future. Like, you just need to be as honest as possible, and there might be repercussions for that. Like, there might be a little bit of an argument, you know? And like, there's no one really to blame but you because you chose to lie for whatever reason. So just definitely tell the truth as soon as possible, and in the future try not to lie about anything. And by the way, withholding information is definitely the same as lying. Anyone who thinks otherwise can suck on my balls. Someone asked me about what to do when you feel guilty about hooking up with someone, and I have been there, done that several times. Like my one night stands video, it's like one of the first videos I ever put on this channel. It's honestly not that great because I wasn't confident with talking to the camera, but I'll link that below because that's just stories about times that I hooked up with people really drunk that I would not have hooked up with otherwise, and I felt so bad the next day. I literally cried so much, like called my mom in tears, like felt so dirty, like couldn't believe that like my number went up for this person I didn't care about and all this stuff. And that's like back when I lived in like this mindset that like having sex with as little people as possible was like what was a good thing to do, and that's what made you like wife material and stuff, just because like my parents are like 60, so they're old fashioned, and I was just always raised to like basically not be a dirty slut and not have a lot of sex. But I'm a dirty slut and I have a lot of sex. I used to have a whole bunch of guilt, and I'd be super upset and I'd cry about it, and I would like take the longest showers, like I trying to wash it off me. Like I just felt so fucking dirty. And basically what I've just learned over time is that like having sex with someone like is a private thing. Like it's happening in a bedroom or wherever it is, hopefully in private, just between you and another person, and no one ever has to know about that moment unless you choose to share that information. And while you can still choose to like not tell anyone but still have the guilt on your own, like just tell yourself your worth doesn't come from the amount of people that you've had sex with. It doesn't matter if you've had sex with hundreds of people. It doesn't matter if you're a virgin. Like you are still worthy. You're not dirty. There's nothing wrong with you. Like sex is a normal part of life. Like some people really like to have sex, some people don't, and that doesn't mean anything bad about you. We all make mistakes. We all maybe have sex drunk that we don't want to have. We all sometimes do something that we know we wouldn't do usually, and it's easy to feel guilty about that, but everyone makes mistakes, and again, it's a private thing. No one has to know about it, and just try and remind yourself that you're not dirty. It's okay to have sex sometimes with someone that maybe you wouldn't really have wanted to. Like shit just fucking happens, and as long as it's not like a sexual assault situation, just try and pull yourself up from the bootstraps and brush it off, because like there's nothing wrong with you and it's totally fine, and like, you know, at least you got laid. Someone asked me my thoughts on astro compatibility, like between a Taurus and a whatever. I'm a Taurus, and I definitely believe in compatibility based on the stars. I am huge into astrology. Like I have the Taurus symbol tattooed on my ankle. Like I'm so fucking into that shit. I think that the stars say so much about who we are as people. I think a lot of stuff is written in the stars, like fated for things to happen to us. So I'm super into astrology. If you're into that as well, I highly recommend you check out astrologyanswers.com. That's a dope ass website. They have like online psychics you can pay to talk to. There's this one woman on there, her name's Luna. I've spoken to her several times. It is pretty pricey. I've probably spent like $400 on Luna over the past few years, but she has never been wrong, and she actually recently predicted something about my family that came true that it like gave my whole family like chills. So I definitely recommend that if you're like into astrology psychics thing. And then also there's this website called The Secret Language, which is amazing. If you put in your birthday, it'll tell you like so much about yourself. Like it's scary accurate, and you can put in your birthday and someone else's birthday, and it'll tell you like how compatible you are with that person. It's super awesome. So if you're into that stuff, definitely check it out. I do believe that you are more compatible with certain signs than others depending on the sign that you are. And this girl asked specifically about hooking up with Geminis because she's a Taurus interested in a Gemini, and I am a Taurus, and I've recently been hooking up with a Gemini for the past few months, and it's good sex, y'all. It's good sex, okay? Taurus and Gemini, we good, we good. Okay, another girl asked what you do if you're hooking up with someone and you really don't like what the other person's doing. Like maybe they're eating you out wrong or fingering you too aggressively or kissing you badly, and you want to let them know that you don't like it so that you can enjoy it without ruining the moment or making them feel bad. I've definitely been in positions before where things have been really bad that I've had to be super fucking honest. Like if I think someone's a bad kisser, I'll pull away and be like, hey, how about we do less tongue or whatever. Or if someone is like aggressively jamming their fingers inside of my vagina, I can literally be like, hey, like actually fingering doesn't really do anything for me, like no offense, like just grab my boobs instead. Like honestly, it seems scary to have to like correct someone's like technique, but think of it, like if a guy told you that he wanted you to do something different or something a certain way, you would want to change it because you would want to be like a good sexual partner, you know? Like I know that I would not be offended if a guy told me to change something or do something, you know? So just speak up and be honest. It's really not scary, and 9 times out of 10, if the guy is not a complete piece of shit, he will just be like grateful that you are giving him some help. Because a lot of guys like to act like they are like amazing lays, but guys like don't really know what they're doing, okay? Guys teach themselves how to fuck from porn. Porn is unrealistic. Literally, guys think that they're the man and they think that they make the girl come every time, and they aren't. They aren't doing anything right at all. So actually do the guy a favor, have the balls to correct him, and then every girl in the future will be grateful for you for letting him know that what he was doing was fucking horrible. Teach each other. You can also just like have a conversation after the fact and be like, hey, like I think we should talk about what we like in bed for the next time we hook up, and then like you don't have to talk about it in the moment because you already like prefaced like, hey, I like this, I don't like this. And likewise, you can be like, tell me what you do and don't like, so it doesn't seem like it's a one-sided like gang up on the guy kind of thing, you know? But honesty is always the best policy, I'm telling you. honesty is good. Someone asked me what I think about when you are like a hookup booty call with a guy, like it's supposed to be a just sex thing, but then you have sleepovers and stuff and you start to catch feelings. Like, what do I think about that? I definitely think that sleepovers and stuff add to the ability to catch feelings. Like, if someone has sex with you and they leave, like, there's no attachment, but if you have sex, which is already really intimate regardless of how much you like or dislike the person you're having sex with, like whether it's your boyfriend or a slam, like it's still an intimate thing that you're doing with another person, like your bodies are entering each other, literally. It's a little weird if you really think about it. If you do something that intimate and then you sleep next to each other and then like kind of end up half cuddling in the night and then you wake up next to each other and brush your teeth together and have to like have small talk in the morning, like you're definitely getting to know the person at least a little bit past the realm of just having sex. So I definitely think that makes catching feelings a lot easier. I think if you really don't want to catch feelings, you need to like not have sleepovers, honestly. I mean, guys have like this magical ability to basically just tell themselves to not catch feelings for you and then they don't, but I know as a girl that's not really my thing. Like if I've ever in my life had sex with someone multiple times, whether it was like oh, we're friends hooking up, friends with benefit, or someone that I full on liked, like the multiple hooking up and the sleepovers and whatever definitely fueled the fire. Like it definitely made me like the guy more, and it definitely made me think at times that the guy likes me more than he did, because it's like, oh, if he doesn't like me, why is he letting me sleep over? Oh, if he doesn't like me, why are we getting breakfast the next morning? You know, just things like that. So I definitely think that it adds a little bit of confusion to the mess if it's really supposed to be like a just slams thing. So if you really do just want it to be a slam, then like you should have the ability as well to be able to walk away and not sleep over even if you're invited to. But I mean, if you're wanting it to turn into something more, then I mean, yeah, sure, stay around, stay for the morning, make him breakfast in bed, really, you know, dazzle him. Okay, I got a lot of questions about being a virgin, losing virginity, all that stuff. Like, how old was I? Did it hurt? Blah, blah, blah. So, mini story time. So, the age I was when I had my first kiss was 16, which I know is, like, kind of old for that, but, like, I don't care. I didn't have anyone to fucking kiss, and I really wanted to kiss my boyfriend, who I met when I was 14, and I didn't even get the opportunity to kiss him until I was 16, y'all. So, like, I was just holding out. Like, I wanted to kiss him so fucking bad. So I waited until like I got to go on like a real vacation like to see him, which was like, yeah, it took like a year and a half, 2 years, okay, but it was like worth it. Like, I'm happy that I waited. And then for my virginity, I lost that when I was 17, but it was really like a month before my 18th birthday, so we round up, it was really like I was 18. Like, I wasn't just freshly 17, like I was about to be 18. Lost my virginity. I lost my virginity in a frat house. How fucking ratchet is that? I mean, I didn't really have a choice. Like, I went to go visit my boyfriend and he lived in his frat at the time, and like, your bedroom is in a frat house, so that's what has to be done. So I just think that's funny that I lost my virginity in a frat house. No, it did not hurt. Like, sex has never really been a painful thing for me. Like, I read a lot online about like myths of the hymen. Like, some sources say that like the hymen thing is kind of like not real and there's really not one there, and then some say that like it breaks and all this shit. I don't really know. I don't give a fuck. All I know is that everyone tells you that it's gonna really hurt your first time because there's this layer thing over your vaginal hole that's gonna get ripped open. Yeah, no, don't think so, because I've been putting tampons in there, everything in there, like long before I had sex, so I don't know, it never hurt me at all. So don't be scared about the pain, honestly, unless you're fucking someone with like the biggest dick ever, but like it hasn't ever really hurt me. So also, having sex your first time like is not that scary if you're doing it with someone that you really like. Like, if you're gonna have sex your first time with like kind of a random guy, like just to hook up, like fuck it, I just want to lose my virginity, I just want to start having sex, I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're that kind of person, it probably will be a little more nerve-wracking, because then it's like you feel like you're being judged on your performance and you don't know what you're doing because you've never done it before, and the other person like isn't in love with you to like be forgiving. Like, I lost my virginity to someone that I was in love with who was in love with me, so like even if I was not a good lay in the beginning, like he is in love with me, so he's not gonna be like, oh fuck you. Like, he's just happy that like he gets to have sex with his girlfriend and that he gets to take her virginity and whatever else. So if you're having sex with someone that like you love and you're in a relationship with, like definitely don't be nervous, because like they'll be there for you, like a support system, like, hey, I got you, babe, like it's fine, we can do it together. Random hookup, like honestly, I know porn isn't realistic, but before I had sex, I did watch a lot of porn just to kind of see like the basics of how it kind of worked and what people did and like the faces people made and whatever. And again, it's not 100% realistic, but if you are absolutely actually fucking clueless and really are so scared and don't know what to do, just watch some porn, just to at least have an idea of what the fuck is gonna go down, okay? Like, I was on top for my first time, which is actually very impressive, so Thanks, porn. And if you are a virgin, like, don't feel bad about it. Like, there are not many guys that are like, oh, you're a virgin, fuck that. Like, if anything, guys are gonna be like, oh my god, she's a virgin, I want to fuck her. So be wary that you're not getting fucked just because you're the virgin, because a lot of guys just want to be like, oh, I took this girl's virginity, like, I fucked a virgin, like, for whatever fucking weird complex it is men have in their head about that. So definitely don't feel like you are not like an asset or an interesting girl or whatever to a guy just because you are a virgin, because if anything, I think it definitely ups like your sex appeal to men for some reason. But just don't be scared, like, watch porn, like I said, go into it with an open mind, just like do what feels right for you. Like, you don't have to fucking have anal sex your first time, like, it's fine. Like, you can have missionary sex and not be a loser. Like, ease into it, it'll be okay. Maybe like take a shot beforehand. It's all good, and no one's gonna judge you, like, at all. Like, seriously, I've never heard of someone judging them. Like, my freshman year roommate was a virgin, and so she didn't lose her virginity until the very end of our freshman year, and like, no one like disliked her because of that. Like, it was never an issue. Like, we would talk a lot about her being a virgin, but it never like meant anything bad for her. Like, she would like still go home with guys and hook up with guys and just not have sex with them, and like, it was never a problem. Like, just do what you're comfortable with. Someone asked me about what you do if you're hooking up with a guy that always doesn't want to use a condom, or like wants to take off the condom like after a few thrusts or whatever the fuck. Honestly, fuck that. Like, you have every right to want to use a condom to protect yourself, to not have a baby if you're not on birth control. Like, you as a woman protecting your body have the full right to be like, I'm only having sex with men who will use condoms. So if you're hooking up with someone who always wants to take the condom off, like, you need to lay down the law. Like, be a ballsy bitch and be like, fuck no. Like, do you want to have sex with me? Do you want to get laid? Do you? Because if you do, you're gonna keep that thing on your fucking penis. Thank you. And I know that, yes, I'm sure it does not feel as good as without a condom. Obviously, why would you want to put some plastic over your dick to be able to have sex? Like, I believe that it doesn't feel as good, okay? But like, you have to respect your partner, okay? And that is so disrespectful to be like, no, I don't want to use the condom because it doesn't feel as good. Like, you're still getting fucking laid, dude. And that means that you don't respect her or her body or her wishes. And if that's honestly the case, then find someone else to fuck, because there are people that will respect you and your body and wear a fucking condom and just be grateful that they're even getting to enter your body, okay? Someone asked me about how long I think that you should wait until having sex with someone. I don't think there's any time limit. I have had sex with people the first time that I met them, and it's been great. That did not make the guy think I was a slut. That did not make the guy think less of me. Like, if you have sex like soon into meeting and the sex is bomb, then it's kind of like, okay, well, we already know we're sexually compatible, like, kind of right off the bat, which is handy. And you can also choose to wait. Like, if the guy seems like a little bit of a fuck that just wants to fuck you, then wait. Like, read the person, read the situation. Like, some people you can hook up with right away and it doesn't dissuade them from liking you, doesn't fuck things up. Some people you maybe should wait a while, because if you don't, they will have gotten what they wanted and will ghost you or whatever it is. So really judge the situation, but it can never hurt to wait a little longer, because then you can really weed out who the fuck actually cares about you. But girl, if you want to do it the first time, like, you're not a slut. Do you, girlfriend? Whatever the fuck you want, okay? Someone asked me what they should do about their pubic hair, and I remember when I was younger, like 14, 15, I would stress about this so fucking much. Like, I did not know what to do. I didn't know what it was that guys liked. And I remember I texted my older cousin, who's 6 years older than me, so she was like 20 or 21, and she told me that she shaved all of it. So then that's what I did, and I still do that. Like, sorry if that's TMI, I do not have pubes ever, and that's not because that's what men like or whatever. That's just because, honestly, by now it's my preference. Like, I can't stand having any sort of hair. Like, that's just my preference, you know? And you can definitely do whatever you want, like, it's your body. But if you're stressing about it, I can tell you that, like, now in the 21st century, it is very common for girls to shave all of it. It's not bad if you don't. I'm not telling you that's what you should do. But I don't think a guy will ever be turned off by too little hair, whereas it is easy for guys to be turned off by too much. And I know people are gonna hop on here and be like, well, fuck you, that's not a feminist. Girls should do what they want. It shouldn't be about pleasing the man. Okay, do whatever the fuck you want. But if you don't want a guy to, like, be weirded out or shit talk you to your friends because you have some fucking bush, just put a fucking razor to it, okay? Like, honestly, in my opinion, I would never have more than, like, a landing strip if I was into any type of hair. But, you know, I shave it all. You do what you want. You can look up porn. You can Google naked chicks. See how they have their vagina hair. Promise you they're not gonna have any. But again, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just letting you know, girl to girl, because I knew I wanted to know what other people did when I was that age. Someone asked me what my worst and best hookup stories are. So, quick little story time. Worst hookup without a fucking doubt, although I've definitely had some bad hookups, like hooking up with that MTV guy. I'll link the story time about that below. Horrible. Even the sex that I used to have with my most recent boyfriend, we'd broken up for like a year. We only dated for like a couple months, but he was just very boring in bed. He only wanted to do missionary, wanted to do it under the covers, like very PC sex, okay? And I don't fucking like that, okay? I like some dirty kinky shit. So that wasn't necessarily bad sex, but it was boring as fuck, and it was not the kind of sex that I like to have, so it was like meh. Probably for sure the worst sex I ever had was with one of my guy friends who literally had the smallest penis I've ever seen in my life, like no exaggeration, like literally a fucking chode, like so small it's not even real life. Like you think I'm exaggerating, but it's not. It was literally like a fucking Jolly Rancher, and I just didn't know what to do with that. I couldn't feel anything. I honestly didn't even feel like I was having sex at all, and he wanted me to like blow him, and I fucking couldn't, because what am I supposed to do with something that small? Like I can't even do anything with it. So that was not a good time for me. And then he had the balls to tell me that I was the worst sex he ever had, and I was like, well, I wonder why the fuck. And I made a story about that. I'll post that story below also. I also hooked up with a guy in September who was only 19, which is like so not my style. Like I'm so into way older guys, so someone being younger than me is like actually disturbing, but like I was super into him. Like we were vibing, and I was like, fuck it, like I'll have sex with him. And literally he was like a fucking jackhammer the whole time, which was painful. Like probably one of the only times that sex has actually been painful for me, because he was basically doing what he sees people do in porn, and he thinks that's good, and it's not. It was pretty fucking bad, and the whole time he kept making comments about how he had a pretty big dick for a 19-year-old, huh? And I was like, stop saying that. Like, that's a really fucking weird. So that wasn't a really good sexual time for me. Honestly, now that I think about it, a lot of the sex I've had hasn't been that good. You know why? Because men think they're great in bed, and they're not. I should make a whole video on how to teach men how to fuck, how to eat pussy, and how to fucking finger correctly, because you're all doing it wrong. I can only think of like 3 to 5 people that I've had sex with that it's been like pretty good to good. And definitely the best hookup story I've ever had was this guy from Tinder that I only hung out with twice, and we had sex once. And like, for being a random hookup, like someone that I don't know, and usually sex, it's like a hookup with someone you don't know that well, don't have like compatibility with them yet because you don't fucking know each other, like you're basically strangers having sex. For a random hookup, it was very good sex, okay? He like had a sex playlist, like turned on music, like he was super into it, like everything he did, he was good at. It was very sensual, like oh, like I literally felt like I was being fucked by Fabio, okay? Like he knew what the fuck he was doing. That's not to say then that the sex I've had with people that I've like been in love with, or that I've been hooking up with for a long time, or like low-key dating or whatever, that sex has been good as well, because like we like have gotten to either love each other or really like each other, and we know what each other like. So like over time with someone, especially when you like them and there's feelings attached, it's really hard for the sex to be bad, honestly, if you like someone. But for a random hookup, for not knowing each other at all, he fucking was killing it, okay? Like he was good, okay? He was good. And I actually posted a story about him also, because he totally denied me, rejected me for like the stupidest reason ever, and I actually cried about it, even though I didn't even really like him. Like I liked having sex with him, like the sex was good, but him as a person didn't really vibe, and I made a story about that too. So I guess if you are new here, there are a whole bunch of stories you can watch to get up to date on my shitty boy life. And then finally, the last question, I just think this one's really funny. A girl asked me what I think that all guys like in bed, and I think that's a really simple answer. Blowjobs. Okay, well that's it for this sex Q&A. I hope that was helpful. If you ever have more sex questions, just like slide in my DMs, Snapchat me, let me know. I'm sure I'll do another sex Q&A in the future, because I have never gotten so many questions in such a short amount of time for Q&A before. It's like a lot of people want to know about sex, okay? I mean, I don't blame you, but like trust me when I say I've had enough sex to be able to fill you in. Yeah. Bye guys!